Good morning again, everyone, and thank you very much, Richard, for the introduction. I'm always happy to be here. I am a dedicated speaker at Richard's events. I always enjoyed his events, and I enjoyed his audience. And his events were always enriching for my mind and helping me build more friendships and great contacts. Again, I'm Camille Homsi. I am the CEO of my own single-family office. I've been on the CEO helm for over 2 decades already. And even though I want to step aside, they won't let me. So we are global investors. We operate out of Dubai, and we focus on alternatives. Our core investments are in commercial real estate, in renewable energy, and in waste management. We do direct investments as well as we do co-investments. I'm not going to talk about myself today because these 35, 40 minutes or less are all about you. I enjoy moderating, and I call it always, I say I moderate to educate. What I mean by educate is besides macroeconomics and geopolitics, which is a lot of my regular daily life as a dispute resolution expert also today, among many different ministries in our region, what I enjoy is engaging with the climate people and enjoy enforcing an overarching policy that we have on ESG, where all our investments factor measurable impact. I have with me on stage 4 esteemed panelists. The beautiful people, I only met them this morning. I wish I met them a long time ago, but it's never too late. We can always make a lifetime friendship. You have them hailing from New York, from New Jersey, from Chicago, and from Los Angeles. So Sylvia is going to lead the pack by introducing herself, her company, her position, her experience, and let's limit that to a minute, please, because we have a lot of questions to cover for all these esteemed people who put up with us and stayed through the 3rd day. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Camille. My name is Silvia, and Hikaru Capital is an independent asset management firm. So basically, all we do is we are a bridge between the financing and the fund manager. So we help fund managers to fundraise and investors to deploy their own capital, just as a normal external asset manager would do. We cover all alternative asset classes, so starting with private equity, real estate, and VC. In order to be able to also invest indirectly, right now we set up a fund of funds called Parkour Capital. So basically, we are investing in experienced fund managers across alternative energy, private equity, and real estate. And I'm proud to say that last year I was named as the youngest female running an independent asset manager in the US. And yet, people are still getting excited primarily with my experience, because I've got over a decade in the investment space, and I worked for Blackstone, where I set up the largest retail fund in Europe.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Tuttle. I actually have a podcast with Richard. It's called the Accredited Investor Podcast. I highly recommend you guys checking it out. Or if any of you want to be guests, I'm always looking for new guests. I also have 2 businesses. My main focus point is mobile home parks. I've been in that space 15 years. I have a fund, Midwest Park Capital. My partners have been driving for the last 2 months, building a lot of off-market deals. I don't think we're raising right now. We've pretty much oversold for the next raise we're doing. And I also have a high-growth e-com-focused digital agency where we build stores for 7- to 8-figure exits using unlimited traffic source with TikTok and Google. So, Jonathan Tuttle, Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard and Camille, for hosting us today. Richard, I learned a lot on your speech there, and now I'm overly sensitive to persuading everybody in this audience. I work as a CIO for a single-family office in the southern states. They had a liquidity event a few years ago, all cash, and so we're deploying that. The interesting thing here is it is 100% alternatives, 0 public market exposure by design. And a lot of family offices are moving to heavy alts exposure, but this is extrapolating to 100%, so very interesting. I also have a small fund called Wingspan, and we invest exclusively in niche alternatives as well. Prior to that, I was the CIO for the Heinz family in Pittsburgh, more of a legacy family, multi-generation, heavy alternative exposure, lots of implications by being a high-profile family office, I guess. So that's my background, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much.
I run a multifamily office out of Los Angeles. So I specialize in the purpose of my business is threefold. One, to provide high net worth families with tools, services, and products and investment vehicles that they had not been exposed to provide them a more vertically integrated way of doing business, and to provide them a platform to ensure the proper succession and transfer from one generation to the next of the family, and to ensure that continuity. We focus pretty heavily in real estate because all the families that I work with, that's how they built their passive portfolios. But we're expanding very heavily into private credit and slowly building a venture capital arm as well.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is fair to start the conversation by defining what is an ultra-wealthy investor. We heard in the last few days and in many conferences the term family office used. I define when a family that is working together, this is a family business. When a family structure a team for itself and can afford to structure and compensate that team, taking all the advantages in the West, not by us in the GCC, because our tax system is very lenient, and in most cases we don't have any income tax. But in the West and here in the United States, Canada, there are tax advantages when you establish your own single-family office or you run your business as a multi-family office versus a venture fund or other. That's where also some of those advantages also advanced in the last few years, the private equity activities. For me, and in the space that I live with, the ultra high and the ultra wealthy families. I remember when the time billion used to be a lot of zeros and very difficult. You wait until you are 12, 13 years old to know that how many zeros it is. But today, the word trillion is becoming a lot more prevalent because we hear that in debt, we hear that in wealth, we hear that in budgets, and we hear that in the cost of wars. So welcome to the trillion world. Sahil, talking about, I was intrigued when you said that your family made wealth in real estate, and being illiquid and being in the alternative space, which is one of the most attractive economic sectors to the ultra wealthy. The ultra wealthy is not investing every day to make a living, but to really work on big investments and for capital growth and for preservation. What would you say about the portfolio structure of the ultra wealthy?
Well, I mean, in terms of structure, I don't think that's something that you can just, set out at one point and just move on autopilot. It always has to be massaged. It always has to be managed and restructured and rebalanced based on, the happenings of day to day. I mean, we saw it just in 2 weeks. The entire world kind of changed. We had Joe Biden stepping down, to Trump almost getting assassinated, to the DNC, all of these picks. Everything sort of changed in the span of 2 to 3 weeks. I was out of the country for this entire time. By the time I came back to America, everything was extremely different, and I had to rethink my priorities based on how I thought the next 4 years of economic outlook would go, and what the impact would be, especially considering all of the wars that are popping up. The post-Soviet fever dream is over, and we've all really got to take stock in what that means, both for us in our lives, but also for our portfolios.
Beautiful, thank you. Andrew, since we've been experiencing this most recent paradigm that we inherited from COVID, from inflation, from bank the banking industry failure. I know there are 3 or 4 that went under, but that doesn't mean the rest are safe. So we're living in a volatile economy that accentuate the sectors of private credit and the private equity. And you've been involved in that. Where do you see today the allocation and also the interest of the high net worth in these 2 sectors?
If you want to continue listening to this exclusive panel discussion, become a member at familyoffices.com.
If you are a founder, raising capital, developing real estate, or you're an investor, would love for you to get involved in the Family Office Club. I've run this community for 18 years now. We've hosted 300 live events. We have 17 million social media group members and followers. We have the #1 YouTube channel on family offices. We have the #1 most popular podcast on family offices. You can learn more about us and our membership options at familyoffices.com. We have 30 in-person events planned in 2026 and another dozen events this year. Please go to familyoffices.com to learn more.